to Not Move Poop Podcast. What's going on, Chief?
What's going on, buddy? How you been?
You know, it's another day.
Yeah, no, that's I feel that, especially with training camp going on, lives, wives, kids, all the fun things, man. We've definitely been busy lately. So wanted to get on here and talk a little Chiefs as far as gotten through the first 3 weeks of training camp, leading up to the first game this week. Just kind of wanted to talk and see how things are going. Uh, I guess as far as before we get to the fact that you were lucky enough to be able to make it up there to training camp for a couple of days,
Oh yeah.
what all have you seen as far as what's going on with the team that intrigues you that you haven't seen yet?
Well, really, Simmons, man. Simmons just been playing out of his mind. Noah Gray. Well, let's stay on Simmons for a second, man. Simmons, he took on Chris Jones one on one,
Mm-hmm.
threw him to the side. Chris Jones obviously held his own, but
Yeah.
Simmons was very, very, very impressive. Um, I got to see number two, a wide receiver Thornton.
Yeah, Tyquan Thornton. Yeah.
He was being awesome. I mean, he was dude. You cannot write a better script for a guy right now. What's going on in camp? Then you got what was his face? Noah Gray.
Yeah.
He was 4 for 4. Three of his receptions for touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was a pretty big gain. Travis Kelsey looked good.
So
Mahomes,
is it, as far as
Mahomes,
the rumors are true, did he slim down enough to where you feel kind of like, oh hell yeah, let's go?
yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Looks
Good.
good. Rumors look to be true.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. You know, always got to double check and see if we can get some
Yeah.
boots on the ground to make sure it's a legit,
Right.
rumor that you see. So
Fact.
hopefully they can, as far as at minimum, as long as he can maintain consistency and they package in Noah Gray, I'm good with that. As long as the tight ends keep moving and grooving, let's get it. So now, as far as the other players that you've seen in training camp, everything that I've read and everything that I've seen as far as videos go have shown me straight up that, yeah, the entire left side of our line is taken care of at this point. Fixing guard, I know they've been kind of switching some dudes in and out through left guard between Wanye Morris, Felix Uzama. They've had a few. They even had Jalen Moore, the guy who replaced Trent Williams when he was with the Niners last year. So they've got some things moving that are at least trying to play. Hey, what works, what doesn't? I know the preseason is going to go, but all the reports that I've read have shown that honestly, the Kansas City Chiefs are not worried about the left side of the line anymore. They feel Justin Simmons has solidified himself with this left tackle spot here, as well as the only major, I guess, question mark they have at this point, from what I've read and what I've seen and what I've heard on the radio from other sources, is right tackle in Jawan Taylor. But the one thing I can say to give him, I guess, the most up respect is contract years are undefeated. So we'll probably see the best year of Jawan Taylor yet. Now, if you could say what is that you have left to see, what's the biggest question mark that you have moving forward in training camp and in the preseason?
Um, that would be the health of the wide receiving corps.
Okay.
Um, Jawan Taylor, he had his right knee scoped the other day as well, so his health is a little kind of questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you
Yeah.
know, um,
That's my honestly biggest harp to, I guess my biggest question mark is
DBs.
guys staying healthy,
Yeah.
regardless of the position group. That's one reason we fell into what we've fallen into for a couple of years is guys are having trouble staying healthy. And I don't know if, it can be one thing, it can be another. A lot of it is speed, and as well as I do, speed kills, regardless if it's good or bad. That can always be a major factor. I do remember
Yep.
when they were leaving off-season OTAs before the start of minicamp or before the start of training camp and all that. They interviewed Xavier Worthy and a few other wide receivers, and they all basically had said the same thing. Said Coach Reed said, "Get your hamstrings ready because we're going to be running." So I'm ready to see some speed. I want these guys to stay healthy. I want these guys to
Yep.
kind of flourish. So the only other question mark that I can say right off the bat right now that I want to see is I want to see how our secondary's looking, making sure that they're still tight knit. I know McDuffie's on a contract year as well. Or even if he has, I think 2 more seasons left on his contract, the man's due. We need to pay this man before it gets out of hand, and we're running into a Dallas Cowboys situation where they should have paid this. They should have paid Parsons, what, a year or two ago at best. So let's make sure that we can get our guys locked up and taken care of, at least the guys you want to keep, because we know that there is a huge shift in the paradox with the Kansas City Chiefs that is getting ready to happen. You have Travis Kelce, who very well could be his last season. You have Chris Jones, who's probably got 2 years left before he's done. And you're about to see a major shift in the core of players for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I want to see where they go with it. I want to see exactly how they adjust around Mahomes, how they adjust around on the defense, who they keep for their their core 4 or 5 players, and how they run with it from there.
Yeah, I agree. I'm real intrigued to see this DB these defensive backs this year. Jaden Hicks is, I think he's entitled to a good year, big year. This could be his breakout year this year. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'm really excited
Now,
about this year.
when you were out there, did you get to see McDuffie work in the slot, or was he outside mostly?
No, I actually wasn't able to locate him.
Okay.
I don't know if he was just on the opposite side of the field when I was going for more for offense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm hoping with that DB they picked up in the draft that they honestly can let McDuffie go back to work in the slot, which is where he made his bread and butter. So I would like to see it, but at the same time, I have high expectations, and it remains to be seen. But nevertheless, now that we've gotten through half of this week or half of the second week of training camp, probably usually after the first game this weekend, they move it back to Arrowhead at the practice facility for the remainder of camp, if I'm correct on that. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's jump into the preseason schedule. So this Saturday at the Toaster in Glendale, Arizona, 7 p.m. Central Time. We got the Chiefs at the Arizona Cardinals. As we were pulling up and I was getting show notes ready and everything else, it made me laugh hysterically what ESPN Bet has this game at. Just seeing, regardless, it's their Chiefs are favored +2. The over/under's 38.5, and it's +110 on the money line for them to win. So I can tell this is definitely, just like last week with the Hall of Fame game. It's a preseason game. It is what it is. I just want to make sure that, one, we can get through this healthy. Two, I'd like to see at least a drive of the ones play, just so that way I can see how Simmons does with those guys, just to make sure that, hey, you know what, feeling pretty good. Get them out, let them do a drive. If they go 3 and out or get stalled, great. I'm okay if they don't score. I just want to see the ones out there to make sure that they're at least all right with what they got. Now, do you think that they I mean, as far as what the Cardinals are, as far as their ones go, I think as far in looking at our defense, I also want to see our defensive ones out there. I also want to make sure that, you know, our guys are getting back, at least I know it's the first game and expectations are always high, but, just, don't mash the gas, don't completely stand on the brakes, but kind of just be relaxed with this one. Don't win the Super Bowl in the first preseason game.
Right. Yeah. It ain't the beginning of the season when you win.
Yeah. You got to be able to stay healthy and show out. So it looks to be, and as far as the schedule is concerned for the preseason after that, which we can go into a little bit more depth the next time we do a segment or recap them or anything. But it looks to be our preseason, at least the first two games are a road trip. We're, like I said, week 1, we're in Glendale, Arizona for the Arizona Cardinals. Week 2 for the preseason, we're up at the 12th man up in Seattle, going up there to play the Seahawks for week 2. And then rounding out the preseason, you'll have at home at Arrowhead Stadium on August the 22nd versus the Bears. That's a Friday night. So that should be a good game to go home, be at home. But do you think that I know the Chiefs and there are a few other teams in the NFL that predicate themselves on having more padded practices, hitting more, playing more preseason snaps. Which game do you see more of the ones playing as far as starters go? Do you see them playing more at home versus the Bears in week 3 or at Seattle in week 2? You there, Bob? Well, while JB's working on his microphone, I at least what I think is going to happen here is, honestly, I see more of the ones playing about a half. I'd say they'll play a good first half of the Seahawks game. Personally, I do think that they were going to want to get some more reps, see who they can get for healthy. I know as far as the wide receivers go, they've been hitting the injury bug lately in camp. So I do think you're going to see a little bit more of the ones in the Seahawks game. And I do think the Bears game is kind of be your last stitch effort for guys to make the roster. But now that I got you back, JB, going back, my question for you is which week do you see more of the ones playing? I say they'll probably play a half, if not 3/4. But where do you see them playing more, against the Seahawks or against the Bears?
Oh, against the Seahawks.
Gotcha.
They. No.
I think it'd be. I'd see it, and I agree with you more of the Seahawks, like I said, because I see as one, your Bears game is going to be more of, you're going to have your 3s and 4s and 5s playing just so that way they can solidify a roster spot, because I know they already have roster spots 1 to 25 taken care of. It's more or less of 25 to 53 that they need to lock down and make sure that they want to keep these guys.
Yep.
So, I mean, because that's the thing, though, is with everything that's going on in the NFL with, trade rumors and acquisitions, signings, firings, waiver wires. I mean, honestly, you could see, especially even after this game, if not even after the Seahawks game, I'm not going to say a major transaction, but a decent, I'd say a middle of the road signing or cut off of this team. And that could honestly shake a few things up. And I think moving forward, right now where I see us is we're actually in a really good spot.
Yeah.
As far as I don't think I've heard a lot of people on the TikTok spaces, on the social medias, on ESPN, of people really discrediting this team. And the problem is everybody, there wasn't much to correct, in my opinion. It's just, in my opinion, The only two things to correct were players staying healthy and putting the right players in the right places and where they should be, not versus because they could be a Swiss Army knife.
Right.
And that's a shot at the offensive line. What they, I commend our team for what they had to do last year, but we all knew it was a wet Band-Aid. So I'm still going to harp on the offensive line until I see it with my own eyes that it's no longer an issue. So
I agree. I live in the Show Me State. This is Missouri.
Yeah,
they got to show me.
Show you that they're worth that stadium and them staying in Missouri versus going to Kansas. Yeah.
No, that's not the case. Not at all, sir. No.
So since our last update, we also did hit a few, I guess, developments within the stadium proposal that's going down with the Chiefs. So the state of Kansas, on the Kansas side, has extended the Star bonds for another calendar year, aggregate of them having a plan submitted by December 30th of this year.
Right.
Now, as far as having a decision made, they don't have to have one until next year, but they have to have a plan for a new stadium submitted by the 30th of this year. So they want to make sure that regardless, I think it'll still go down to the wire next year, regardless of what state it's in. And I do think with Kansas, essentially the Chiefs are getting a free stadium if they go to Kansas. Same thing with, the Royals, which we can harp on a different episode, but it's all the same. Now, as far as the Missouri side goes, I was made aware of by you and by a few of our buddies that, the Missouri State Legislature wrapped up all the funding. It's taken care of, but the vote still has to occur. So you got to see exactly, I want to see where Mark Donovan and Clark Hunt are with their heads at, because you really haven't heard much on this from them other than, we're still talking to both states. Yeah, we want to try and stay at Arrowhead, but we're open to other places.
Yeah.
And I know you and I are polar opposites of this when I'm about to say, as a Chiefs fan, as long as they stay in Kansas City Metro, I'm completely fine with it, because I do not want either of my sports teams to get snaked by another city outside of Kansas or Missouri.
Yeah, facts. No, I get that.
So, because I know
he looked thinner to you.
Do what? I'm sorry, JB. What'd you say, bud?
Does he look thinner to you?
Yep. So now that we got the stadium developments out of the way here, one thing I'd like to try and talk about is the overly large elephant that is in the room right now, and that is we're being, what we're hearing, what we're seeing, what we're not seeing, and that is the Rashee Rice suspension that is told it's looming. I'm not 100% sure that it's going to happen. I'm trying, I understand as far as what happened off the field as a human. I get it. I get why there would be a suspension. I also get why there wouldn't be a suspension. Right. So I do want to ask you, as far as, let's look at it from someone who doesn't watch football and coming into this being brand new. What do you think? Do you think there should be a suspension? Do you think there shouldn't be? If so, because where I'm at is honestly 4 games appealed down to 2, or 6 games appealed down to 4.
Yeah, I think whatever they hand him is what he's going to have to do. What I'm in question about is I don't remember. It's like vaguely, and I could be totally incorrect about it, but I don't remember necessarily if the NFL came out and said right before he got sentenced that they weren't going to be doing anything about it.
It was something along those lines, if I remember reading it correctly, that it was like, hey, at this time there's no looming suspension, but that was honestly,
I don't know if it was like a at this time type of thing, or if it was like we're just not doing anything, period.
I think
his sentence handed down, and that will affect this. I mean, something is gonna have to happen. I can't imagine the backlash that NFL could be receiving if nothing happens.
Yeah,
Um,
I do think something will happen as well. You can't not do something from a
right.
as a human level on it,
And
away from sports, away from life. Something bad like this happened. I do believe something does need to happen as far as, that's the age old question, is punishment fitting the crime, yada, yada, yada.
so, like, as a somebody coming in as a new fan, like I could see it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
A yes and a no. Just because of personal experiences, but I mean, it is kind of like couple like almost like double jeopardy in a sense. I think that they might try to pull because he's been sentenced to not only probation but jail time. So
Mm-hmm.
it would kind of be, in my eyes, a double jeopardy of them actually giving him a suspension because he would have three punishments, right?
Yeah.
Not only would he have to do jail, not only would he have to be on supervision for 5 years, but he's also going to be missing time from the team and payment. I don't know if I could really see that. If it's up to the Chiefs, I don't think the Chiefs suspend him. And I
No,
think that
it's
that might also, if I'm correct, I think that also might have implications of like the Chiefs could come in and be like, yeah, hey, do this. Or we want, you know what I'm saying? I think as not
yeah.
just as like, I think as a franchise status, as like any franchise, I think can some type of implications on that. Like, to help punishment or whatever. I don't know, but
Yeah. I just see it like this. Like I said, something off the field happened. As much as I love this game, as much as I love sports in general, it is my escape from, just for my time to relax, my time to enjoy myself as a young father, as a husband, all of that. That's my sports, Chiefs, NASCAR, that stuff. I love it. But I will say this, if these guys are paid millions of dollars to play this game, to
yep.
participate in these sports, I do believe it is a privilege and not a right, regardless of how good you are. So I do think, as much as it pains me because this is my team, I do think something needs to happen. As far as what some people are calling for, I do think is a little bit too harsh. And to agree with you, like you said, he is facing penalties on the legal side. Now, as far as, the NFL side, it'll be up to Goodell, and he's going to look over this and see what happened. I even read an article that said, you know what, they were also looking at, because right after it happened, they, when they started the season, he goes out at the, by halftime at week 3. So spent 80% of the season out with an injury. So they were looming at that too, but I don't think that's going to have much to harp on it as far as anything worth saying. But at least I wanted to put it out there. I'll say it like this: if something happens, something happens. If nothing happens, well, let's keep on moving. So, but other than that, did you see any other news stories coming out that you wanted to talk about, as far as anything with the Chiefs that's going on that's kind of leaving you scratching your head?
Um, no, I know Jared Wiley's coming back to, or just came back to practice as a full participant. Um, so that's a good sign. I don't know what he's gonna do this preseason. Come off the ACL tear, but yeah, I don't know. I I know they got Cardinals favored at 54.2% over the Chiefs in this, which I think that's just it being a home game and preseason, like you said.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I haven't either seen anything too much. I mean, there's
Mhm.
possibilities. I mean, like little rumors of what could happen with some free agents or people that are asking to be traded, but hypothetically, I really don't think that we're in the market for anybody like that.
Yeah. And then, so one last thing before we go, just because it did happen, we got to give him a shout out. We got to give him his bread. We got to give him his due. Congratulations to Jared Allen for making the Hall of Fame. It was
Yeah,
some decent speech, crediting the fans from Kansas City, crediting his teammates. He even he said the biggest player he wanted to emulate himself after was DT. So I got to give Jared Allen credit for that. And always, if I can ever do it, I always just got to give that mullet a round of applause because I was
yes,
best
sir.
mullet in football. So, but other than that, man, I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited for the next few weeks as far as preseason football goes to see where things end up. I hope you have yourself a good one, brother. It's good to see you. I know I've been just as busy as you have, so being able to connect for one another, it is what it is. But as
Yes,
the
sir.
season gets rolling, we'll try and get these out more a little bit. Thank you for joining the Not Move podcast, Chief segment. What we're also going to do is I want to shout out all of our socials right now. We got Kick, we got TikTok, we have YouTube, we have Spotify, we have Apple Music, we have Amazon Music, we have Apple Podcast. I think also there was one more that I forgot. I think I got them all. So other than that, this is the Not Move Podcast Chief segment. I'm Chief 316. JB, you take her easy, brother.
This is our weekly segment. We'll be back. See you guys next week. I'm not moved.
Not moved.